Hi, it's Franklin with SongwritersVantage.com, and I'm visiting with Bill Gordon, who a lot of people here at the Taxi Road Rally know because you've been on some panels, you've mentored, and you've been very successful with your own music.
That's great. That's correct. I've been very lucky. 15 years with Taxi, and it's been great.
You're like the poster child for Taxi.
I am one of the many poster children for Taxi, and I'm very proud to be so.
Great. And we congratulate you on that success and wish you much more.
Thanks.
But what I want to talk to you today now, you've got a new product out that you've debuted at this event, and it's called Music No Theory. That's an interesting title. Why is it called that?
That evolved the very first day we were shooting. We had a working title, which was Something Else, and
Something Else. I've heard that title.
Yeah, right. We thought it was a great title. I thought about, this is perfect, right? But I said something about, I'm talking about music. It's not theory. It's music, no theory. It's not theoretical. It's the structure of music. It's the grammar. It's the stuff behind what's going on in this language. It's the nouns and the verbs and the prepositions and where do you put the commas. It's the structure of that language. And so when I said music, no theory, Vince said, wow, that's our title. And it's stuck ever since. And it's not like a lot of theory books and a lot of other courses that start in a place that's still sort of steeped in 19th century terminology and is not applicable to the music that we deal with.
And things that you don't like.
I mean, it's the same 12 notes and everything, but the way of looking at it is very archaic and it's confusing.
And like you said, that major seventh half diminished chord we don't use very often in popular music.
Well, the seventh chord in the scale we don't use very much. The major seven we still use very often.
No, the chord derived off of the major seventh chord.
No, the number 7 chord in the scale. I think you might want to take my course and get.
Yeah, so C would be a B minor seventh flat 5.
Be what was the 7th chord? But if it's a triad, it's a B diminished chord, and we hardly ever use that chord.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, so
you know what you're talking about.
I do. We're just talking about. I got to take his course.
See, if you take the course, you'll know the proper.
I will. Right? I will.
I should give you one for free.
You heard it. I'm getting one.
Don't tell Vince I'm doing this though, because.
All right, we won't tell Vince.
It's a music course for anybody who really wants to learn about how music is put together, and not get bogged down with a lot of details that a lot of music courses bog you down with. It's geared toward anybody who might want to fill in the gaps in their music education. It's probably, in my mind, it's always been really good for the songwriter who has some idea what they're doing, but they don't have the large view, and understanding the organization of music has always been a little elusive to them. So the idea started out as a book about 15 years ago, and then I started teaching at SAE Institute in Miami. And from there, it became the music course for the school. And then Vincent DiPasquale of Fader Pro approached me a couple of years ago, said he wanted to do a DVD of the course. We shot it, we edited it, and it just came out a few days ago.
Well, congratulations.
It's very exciting. It's very satisfying. It's I'm really very happy with it. I mean, there are always moments when I wish I'd explained something a little different, a little better, but it's 90% to me. It's really nice, and I'm pretty fussy with that stuff.
And it's like writing a song, right?
Every time.
Are they ever really finished?
Could I change that line one more time? Right.
So this will help a songwriter to broaden their palette harmonically.
Yes. Melodically, harmonically, and also it also helps with the vocabulary of music. So when they're talking to other musicians, or they're in a session, or whatever they're doing musically, they can use the right word for the right thing. So the vocabulary, the jargon is correct. And I think a lot of us, when we don't have a good music education, we tend to write the same song. We tend to use the same bunch of chords because we don't know what's available. So I like the way it was taught to me by my great teachers. I had some wonderful teachers, and so I want to pass that on, and I want to make it available to people to understand music in a broader way, so they can propel themselves to a better musical place.
Awesome. So I'm a songwriter, and I've got my song, and it starts out in C, and then I go to F, and I come back to C, and I go back to F.
Right.
And now my chorus, I start on C, and then I go, let's say, to my D minor, and I come back to C, and people keep going, well, your chorus sounds too much like your verse. What little tidbit could you give me to help me change that up a little bit?
Oh, I would say get away from that C chord. Get away from the number 1 chord.
And how would I do that?
You pick another chord in the scale. And the first thing you have to know, what are the chords that are available to me in the scale? What's the expected? And you've got 7 possibilities. And one of those, the chord that's built in the 7th note, we hardly ever use anymore. So now you're down to 6 possibilities. And let's give it that number 1 chord, that C chord, now we're down to 5. But then there are also things you can do. You can make little variations on those expected chords from the scale, and you can take it to yet a more interesting place that might be a little bit less predictable.
And what would be one of those variations?
Well, instead of the 4 chord, which is usually a major triad, you can make it a minor chord. You could, instead of going down a half step to what the usual 7th note in the scale is, you could go down a whole step from your C chord and play what's called a flat 7 chord, and suddenly you're in a realm that if it supports the melody, you're supporting it harmonically with something that's much more interesting. But sometimes you don't want that interest. Sometimes it's like you don't want the thing to be that interesting because it distracts the listener. So by broadening your palette and experimenting with these things, you might find, well, in another song this will be perfect, but for this one it's not right. And that's, again, I think that's the essence of teaching. It's like, look, these are the things available to you. Right. Fool around with them, experiment with them, see where it takes you.
So it's like a visual artist, here's all my colors, knowing here's all my colors and how they combine, instead of just grabbing and say, oh, I've got blue, let me see what I can do with blue.
Right, yeah. I mean, you could do it any number of ways. And the gentleman who, the 2 guys, Vincent DiPasquale and Stephen Lee, who run Fader Pro, they wanted me to do this course and film it and edit it in such a way where if you're the kind of person who needs to run from the beginning and just go through very methodically, you can do that. But you can also skip down to chapter 38 if you want to. I want to know about diatonic 7th chords. You can just go right to that spot.
Awesome.
So you can mix and match it, and we tried to make it really something that everybody can use. And being a part of Taxi for so long, and I've become so devoted to the singer-songwriter, that whole notion. And there's such great music coming out of this organization. And having been a part of it almost since the beginning, watching Michael Lasko grow this amazing community, and hearing how wonderful the music has become. I really think it's a great opportunity for me to sort of give something back to that, and maybe help people to write better songs because they know more about what they're doing.
That's awesome. We need more songs and more and better songs.
We got to make this world a better musical place.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
Make the world better with better songs.
There you go. There
awesome.
You go.
Now, how do people find your DVD?
It's faderpro.com. It is this company right here. faderpro.com,
okay.
And they can go online and they can buy it there, and I think within a week or so it's going to be available for streaming.
Okay,
level 1 is out. We're hoping to finish the editing of level 2 within a couple of weeks, maybe a month or so.
Awesome. So there's more coming.
There's a level 2. Level
Great.
2 it gets much more involved. Level 1 is a very comprehensive music course. Level 2 is just wider, deeper, more stuff. Some of the things I ended up talking about in level 2 when we did the editing a couple of months ago, I was actually surprised that I'd forgotten. It's been a year since we shot it, and I was quite surprised that I was talking about these certain things. But I think a lot of people will get something out of that as well.
Awesome. Well, I'm looking forward. What I've seen, it looks
it's a lot
great.
of fun. Yeah. Oh, okay. Good. Thanks.
Yeah, it looks great, and it looks very informative, and we look forward to having our songwriters check it out and learn from it and write better songs. Well, Bill, thanks so much, and we wish you success with it.
Thank you very much for being here.
I'm Franklin with SongwritersVantage.com. See you real soon.